And this is the SmartDots landing page, which I hope you're all familiar with. Going to start by scrolling down and show you how to download the user handbooks or the manuals. And that's by clicking on this link here. And this brings you to quite a number of files because it's within the IC's library system. So you can see all the previous versions of the manuals are here. There's the manuals for the software, that's for the age readers. There's the manual for the web application. That's what we're going to go through now. That's for when you're setting up and managing your events. And I think there's also some technical documentation. And what we need to find is the most recent version of the web application manual, and that is this one here. Click on it, and you download it. So this is the manual. That's the most up-to-date version right now. So that is where you find the manual. Come back to the main page again, and we click on Manage Events. So we're going to go through how to set up an event. Click on this. You've got to enter your login details, like so. And you have a list of different options. Add new users, set up users, expertise, we're not going to go through right now. List of age reader and maturity stages, expertise, also not something for now. Propose a new event, this is what we're going to go through. So we're going to click on this one. And we're going to set up an age reading event. Got a drop down list here. We choose age reading. We're going to set up an exchange. So we click on exchanged. When it's got in brackets to be endorsed, these are the ones that have been officially, I guess, agreed upon by BIOP, and it's up to the chairs to go in and change them to exchange. So it has been endorsed. The chairs of BIOP have looked through the list of what needs to happen, and this is on the list. So put it in there. You enter your species name. Setting up an event for flounder. That in there, we put in the event name. And this needs to begin with the year. When they're listed in the web application, yeah, they're done so chronologically, and it's also important to be able to find the events by year. We're going to call it Baltic Flounder. It's Flounder caught in subdivision 25. I'm going to call it test because there's one called Baltic Flounder already. I'm just making a copy for demonstration purposes. Delegate the event. This is if you have somebody within your institute who's, or not even within your institute, somebody who's coordinating the event with you. So you can add them as a delegate. Enter the start date. This is when the readers will start annotating. You can say that's Monday the 11th. Enter the end date. This is the date when the readers should finish annotating the event. That would say December 31st. And then we click on Create Event. Here you have the name of your event, and you have some information underneath. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create the sample upload file. And this, you go back into Manage Events, propose a new event, you go down to the very, very end, and it's very important that you download the most recent version of the template. And you do that by clicking on this link here. And this is the file. You need to click on Enable Editing and Enable Content. So you have a blank file, and you've got some sheets down here which explain, give some instructions. So the first sheet is titled Export Data, and it gives you some instructions on what to do. Fill out the Excel file, and it tells you that in red, it says this worksheet should always be filled in. That is your file information and your sample data. When you go into your sample data file, there are cells that are outlined in red. They're mandatory, should be checked and completed. And the ones that are outlined in green are optional. When you've completed your file, you need to export the data to XML. That's by pressing on this button. We'll go through that at the end when we've completed the file. And different links to different tools that can help you fill in the file. So that is all on the export data file. You've got some file information. This is where you need to put in your email address. So the person who's completing the file needs to fill in their email address here. The Sampling Institute EDMO code. There's a link on the next sheet, which will bring you to a list of all of those if you don't know your institute's code, and the species name. You go onto the sample data file, and you can see you've got these columns that are filled in red and in green. The red ones are mandatory, green are optional. We'll go on to the final sheet, which is, has a lot of helpful information. So it's got a list of all the IC stock codes which you need to fill in the sample data sheet. You've got links to the actual codes. Go back to the beginning. You've got your species name, IDs. You've got these EDMO codes that I was speaking about. You follow the links to find the information that you need. You've got your different areas. You've got your stock codes. You have sample origin, whether they're discard landings, surveys, market samples, sample type. This sheet is also used to upload your maturity data, egg and larvae data. So you have your vocabs in there, which are needed for your sample types, preparation methods. So if they're whole otoliths, if they're section stained otoliths, the same for maturity eggs and larvae. You've got the sex codes, maturity scales, and the actual maturity stages of the scale. So all of these links are clickable on to provide you with the information that you need. So I'm going to go back to the actual file. And I have one that I've completed earlier. I thought it would speed things up a little bit. And we've just, in here, we have, 20 samples. In here, you put your fish ID. In here, you put your sample ID. It's very important that you've got matching characters in here so that you can link the fish ID to the sample ID. These are in red, they're mandatory. You also need to put in the catch date in the format day, month, year. You've got your area type. You've got ICES area. I'm going to show there are some drop-down fields that you need to choose from. It's for area type. Area code should be the same. Got a list of all the area codes. Statistical rectangles, that's optional. Stock code, very important. Again, with the drop-down list, you can scroll down through. You've got your sample origin, your sample type. Put in that all of these samples are from survey. They're all otoliths. They're all sectioned and stained otoliths. You've got your fish length in millimeters. You've got your fish weight in grams. You've got your sex. That's also a drop-down. We have maturity stage, maturity scale, first of all, and maturity stage. You haven't got that information for these samples. And you've got some free text. So that should be your file completed. You go back to the Export Data tab, and you go up here and you need to export your data to XML format. So we click on that. created this already, so I'm just going to override it. We say save. My Excel is slow sometimes, and of course today it's slow. So we'll go back here. We have now created our event. We go to manage current events, and it is top of your list. So the most recent one you've created. You need to go into the edit event page. I've missed an important step. It's really, really, really important and really useful and will save you a lot of time if you verify that the file you've created is matching the format that it should be in. And we've created a link here that you need to follow to do that. So it says verify if a sample file is according to the format. You click on it, you choose the file that you've just created. Be down here, called Flounder Test. And it says check sample file. So you click on that. It says file screen successfully. Click in the link to view the screen results. So you view file screening. You should get some results. It's coming. It's been very thorough. Okay, so it tells you you've got a record with one header, one row of headers and 20 samples. You can click here to see full report. That is loading. This is where you look to see if there are any errors in your upload file. There's not, so we go ahead. You can just close that one. Go back to your list of events, manage current events, and then we could click on edit event for the Baltic Flounder test. Okay. And it looks like I haven't uploaded the file. So manage events, images, manage current events, edit events. Okay. So this is where you need to scroll down and you need to add samples to the event. You click on this one and it gives you the option to add your file. Choose file. You find your XML file, render test, open, upload samples. So it works that first of all, you need to upload the sample data, and it's after that that you upload your images. So now you can see if you scroll down, you have a list of the 20 samples that you've just uploaded. To the left, there's a red icon. It says, is the sample connected with an image? Red means no. So it's telling you you haven't uploaded your images. So the next thing you need to do is you need to upload your images. You do that by going a little bit further down, and it's this area here. You can either drop the files into the box, or you can select the files. So I'm going to choose to select them. I have all of the images in the same folder as my data, and I'm just going to select them all. You can select them all at the same time. Click on open. So there you can see there's 20 files in queue. Go down to the end and you click on upload. And this, depending on your connection or depending on how busy things are on the website, this can happen very, very, very quickly. Some days it happens slower, and I think it's very much connection dependent. The size of the images is important as well. You can follow the progress of them being uploaded. Maybe I should have chosen just 10 for today, but we haven't. While we're waiting for that, we can just go up and look at the different options. Here you also are able to add a delegate to the event if you did not do so when you proposed the event. You just add an email address in there. I'm going to do that. And an email, here it says user was successfully added, and an email has been sent to the user so they're aware they've been delegated. And here you've got different options for including AQ3 QA annotations in the download and report. You can choose to hide biological parameters in the software if you don't want readers to see the length of the fish or the time of year that it was caught, but you can choose what you want your readers to see. You can choose whether or not to show the nucleus column in the software. So if you want readers to be identifying how the nucleus looks or how the edge looks. This has been added recently, so you can choose which extra properties to show in the list of samples grid in the software. You can open up SmartDots. I think it's a little easier to explain that. So this is your sample grid up here, and you can choose what information you want to have available up here by clicking on these different options. And this is also where you set the scale of the images, and you can delete different samples and images as well. So if we go down, we see that the images are uploaded. They are. Everything is red, which is strange. They should turn green when there's an image attached. Let us see if there's anything in here. So we can see this is the event that we've just created, Baltic Flounder Test. No.
It's not matching, Julie.
No. Okay. Is there something I need to do, Carlos?
Can I see the images again?
You want to see the images in the folder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and compare the images with the sample ID to see if why are they not matching.
I know.
No, just try one of them, just one of them, to see if it matches. I don't know.
They're matching. Yeah.
Yeah, just try the first one, for example.
But I'm comparing, so I've got 903, 0104, 903, 01.
Yeah, it looks fine.
They do look fine. Yeah. Yeah. Should I try uploading again?
Yeah, just one, and then you'll know if it's.
So we can demonstrate how you can drag your images in. So take this one. And we can drag it in here. Let me see what happens. Upload.
Yeah, there you go. It worked.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what happened, but something has worked.
Oh.
Oh.
Because you added the delegate, or I don't know how's the name, at the same time. I don't know. Maybe it canceled the process of uploading.
Yeah, my computer has been behaving strangely, I'll have to be honest. Okay, so here you have a good example where some of your images, some of your data have images attached and some don't. So you can see by the dots, the color of them, whether you have data and images matching. So we won't stay with this for too long. what did I need to do? We need to add readers to the event. So you go down here and you can see the list of age readers that have expertise in reading Flounder. And if you want to add them to this event, you click on this little icon here. It's green. You said add age reader to the event. You can do that. You can add another. You can add another. You can add another. You can add another. So when they appear in the box above, it means they have been added to your event. It gives you an indication of their expertise level. And you can click on this button here. It says send an email to the age readers, and they are informed that they are included in this event. And I think it has the start and the end date in there as well. So we have an event, we have images, we have age readers. Something else that you need to do before your event is ready is set the scale of the images that you need to do from the software. You need to find out what the scale of your image is. Oh, no, okay, because they're not all connected, it's not going to work. So I can show it from another event. I can go to the real Baltic Flounder event. And here you need to, I've done it already. So set scale, this will be blank when you upload your images. You need to either, it's this one, you need to either measure the scale automatically or manually, and that will enter the scale for this sample in this box. So you see the scale for this sample is 417. So you need to go back into your software, or back into the web application, sorry. And here you've got an option to set the scale of images to, I'm going to say 417, where sample contains, and this is if you have some images which have been taken at different institutes, they won't all have the same, or they might not all have the same scale. You would rather that they do, but not always. So you can choose which samples you want to set the scale for by using this field. But here, all of the samples are the same scale bar. So it says leave empty to apply the scale to all images. And you press apply. And this works instantly. They have been entered already, but they will appear for every sample in the list here. It's also very important that before you make the event available to the readers that you put the annotation lines on the audlet. So this is where you have a pinned reading line for the readers to annotate along. That is for the event coordinators to do. That needs to be done before the event is made publicly open for the readers to annotate. So I think that was it for this part. And I've spent way too long doing that. So any questions from anybody?
I'm not seeing any hands up. Oh, yep, Kelly.
Yes, thanks a lot for your presentation or your training. Have you got a problem if you want to upload the very big set of image? Because I remember I have some problem when I upload the image with more 100 or 200 image. Now it's possible to upload 800 image in one time or not?
No, pretty
No,
sure
wow.
there's a limit to it. No, there is a limit for sure. Carlos, could you remember what the limit is to the number of samples?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends also, like you said, it depends on the connection, on the speed, on the stability. I wouldn't upload more than 100 at a time. I think with 100, it's safe.
It also makes it easier to kind of check your progress, I think. So if there's been an issue along the way, if you're doing them in batches, you can It's easier to check.
And my second question about the first question. Have you got some discussion around the number of image by exchange, because sometimes the number of image is 100, and sometimes we have 1,000 image by exchange, and there is some rule or some help, not rule but help
Yeah.
to decide, because for example, for the Hellas branch, there are a lot of spaces, lot of area, and it's not very easy to decide the number of image by one exchange or one workshop.
No, it's correct. It's something we spoke a lot about at the workshop last week, and it needs to be discussed under BIOP. It's not really a SmartDots issue because it's BIOP who decides upon these guidelines for exchanges and workshop, and it's something we need to revise, I think, that we need to do within BIOP for sure. Yeah. Anyone else?
Nobody else has got their hand up at the moment.
Great. Karen, shall I hand over to you?
Okay, so